Good morning, folks. Welcome back to our Inspiring Thoughts from the Bible, live from Jerusalem, to our wonderful friends in Europe with Rabbi Chaim Goldberg. We're so inspired by what he's been sharing with us out of the book of Genesis. And I'm so glad to hear of our wonderful friends in Vilnius, Lithuania, growing their community with our friend Renat and Mattis and many others there in Vilnius, Lithuania. We know they've got such deep heritage and history and such great knowledge to share, and we look forward to hearing more from them. But today, Rabbi Chaim has asked our friend Timothy Klein from Nova Scotia, Canada, to maybe share a little bit about his history. Timothy, you got your microphone muted. Do you want to share with us some of your steps toward embracing Noahide?
Yeah, thank you very much. So I do have something written there that I want to share.
Excellent.
So yeah. So I was very pleased when Rabbi Goldberg invited me to share a brief story of how I came to find this Noahide movement and how these rules, or rules of abstaining, are a basis of humanity. I'm just gonna keep on reading. I found the Noahide Movement Center website after some research into Judaism, and I had a pop-up window advertising Rabbi Goldberg and his classes on Udemy. At the time, I was looking for something new and wouldn't have paid for some classes if it wasn't for my interest and the discount on them. After I had set up my account and paid for the class, I found Rabbi Goldberg talking about them being the keepers of secrets, and I thought, how could this be? From that time on, I found myself more and more captivated by its answers and insight. My journey has been long and I've had my spiritual ups and downs, but overall, I find myself more and more stable and confident. I feel frustrated that in my upbringing as a child, other beliefs were emphasized so much, and I wasn't given much of a choice because I trusted my relatives and stuff like that.
Sure.
Were emphasized too much. I trusted my parents, and So the story for a reason I developed an interest is definitely perhaps unique. My parents said they were concerned for my mental health, to say the least. But through this, I've become a stronger person. So all is well. And then finally, I want to thank Rabbi Goldberg for his interest in others and reaching out in a way that is definitely difficult. He must have had some faith that God would be able to impact the lives of others in a positive way. I definitely need the prayers of others that I will stay with this moral obligation. Sometimes I feel a pull in the other direction, but it's a spiritual support of people, this man, that keeps me on the road. Thank you. Enjoy what the teacher has to say.
Wow. Thank you so much, Timothy. It's a joy to take some of Rabbi Chaim's classes on Udemy, and I found a few of them so insightful. There's such golden nuggets in there. Rabbi Chaim, how are you today?
First of all, good evening, everybody, and blessings from Jerusalem. Good to see the Yitzchak. Good to see you also, the young boy there inside, saying hello. Hi, Daniel, also, and Timothy. Thank you for sharing with us. It is interesting every time to see I don't know exactly what pushed you. It didn't explain what pushed you to start to investigate to these Judaism classes. The only main thing that I have to say here, I'm part of a movement with Rabbi Sherky, and I don't know, Dan, if I was already answered you, but also Rabbi Sherky is going to write down to this magazine that you're starting, not only me. I'm part of a movement. We have a few rabbis. I'm the English speaker inside, but and this is also why we have a worldwide situation. We have also in Russian, in French, in German, and few rabbis who are speaking. And it is one of our main goals is to reach out to people who are looking today for or seeking for the truth. And unfortunately, because of the 2,000 years of the exile, the Hebrew nation was keeping all those insights inside and not sharing them with others. And this is our opportunity to start to share those things. And I do know with myself also that those insights are giving a lot of strength to people when they're listening to them, and also direction how to behave in life with others,
Right.
and where to put the emphasis and how to behave. And this is why we decided to open our mouth and to start to speak. So I'm just part of a very old chain that is running along the history, and I'm part also of the others who are sitting down and thinking and working how to.
We have a new teacher.
It's excellent. It's good. It's good that we have also the next generation, because I think that all of what we are doing here is for bringing for the next generation a better world. And this is why it's an amazing journey also for me. Maybe just another few words to Timothy. What happened that you started to seek for the Jewish wisdom? What happened there?
So it's a bit complicated, but of course I can share it. So I started not really trusting my parents all that much, like, right, and what they had to say, and then I get what they called it is like rebellion or something like that.
Yeah, it's
But
normal. It's normal.
yeah, and then I was just looking for answers and stuff, and I tried like looking for answers in somewhat different religions, and Judaism. There's already some stuff that I had in my head that Judaism kind of really lined up with what I thought. Quite not everything, but I'm like quite a few things. So, but now with the wisdom of Rabbi Goldberg and others and stuff like that, it's like it's really adding to my knowledge and experience, wisdom and stuff like that.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for sharing this. We will, if it's okay with you, if you have any more questions, we can try to relate. If not, we will continue on to the lesson of today. Okay, today I'm sitting here,
Exciting.
have time, and we can go inside. We can dive inside. So again, thank you for sharing with us. I will share the screen. I want to say we are almost finishing with the sin of Adam and Eve. And then we will have another one final thing that we're going to speak about this issue of Garden of Eden. Garden of Eden is not a time of today, okay? It's not in this world. As we always say, when the grandpa is dying, so everybody is saying to the young kids, he went to heaven, he went to out there, you know? So we're speaking here about something that is from the sources of this world, beginning of this world, even before we came to this world. And it's something that is teaching us, a few premises, few first things that we need to learn so we can continue on. The first thing was that someone created this world. I'm speaking about this a lot, and also on the Udemy courses. By the way, those Udemy courses, through my site, they are all for free today. Okay,
Wow.
all the courses from Udemy are free, and there are other courses that are going to be reloaded on Udemy, that's explaining everything, and everything that is coming, or people are going to the Udemy classes through my site, they're getting it for free. So it's you can share it with your friends or something like that. And I'm explaining about a lot this issue of the starting point. there is one thing that each one and one of us can decide, and no one can force him what to believe. Okay? One of the things is this world was created by a creator who decided to do good things to this world and to create this world. And therefore, he is, I'm obligated to behave like him, to do good things. Or that this world was always in this world, no one created this world. This one of the questions that no one can decide for anyone else. Each one needs to decide for himself. I'm in this side of this world or on the other side. The world is behaving without anyone who created it, and therefore I can behave whatever I want to do, I will do, and nobody will punish me. Or there is someone who created this world, and I will get punished if I'm doing bad things, and I will get rewarded if I'm doing good things. This is a decision that no one can decide for us. We are the only one who have the responsibility, okay, this free choice, what to decide. And if you will go to the universities in the United States and everywhere in this world, in Canada also, we will see that the main thought that they have is that this world is structured in laws of the nature, in the nature laws, that nobody created them. Even the free will. Okay, there are few big lecturers who are teaching this issue of the free will, and they are explaining that everything, we can control everything in our mind. And we don't really have free will because everything is structured with this issue of the laws, with the nature. And this is one of the biggest debates that we have, the Jewish nation, with the Bible and the academic world, okay, that we have. And this is something that everyone needs to decide for himself where he is starting, okay? Where is his starting point? And we spoke about this, I think, something done with Chacham Dan and me for 5 lessons or something like that about those issues.
Yes, we did. A series, freedom to choose your starting point, yes.
Yes, and I need to find the time also to put this on the Udemy, also those lessons. So this is something very essential, and this is what we started. And now we're learning a bit more deeper on the understanding of the issue of the knowledge and how to relate to it. So we'll share my screen and we can start dive inside to these things. Just a moment, let me find the exact side of the screen. Maybe this one. No, not this one. Just a moment. Oh, here it is. Here it is. If you don't see, no, it's not this.
Yeah, we've got it. We can see it plain.
No, but it's not the one. It's not the right one. Just a moment. I'm sorry. I have a few windows open. Oh, here it is. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Those are things that I wanted last week. Okay, everybody can see that? Everybody can see the screen?
Oh, yeah, we got it.
Okay, excellent. So we can put this above. That's it. So we already said in previous lectures that we did, I think 2 weeks ago. By the way, in Berkeley, okay, last week I really enjoyed it. It was more spontaneous and everything, and it was very nice. And I enjoyed it last week very much. It was outside, not inside the doors and everything else. From time to time, we need to do, spontaneous things. Okay, but we saw 2 weeks ago, we saw that we proved inside from the Bible that the tree of knowledge and the tree of life most probably it's the same tree. Remember all of that? It's a bit new knowledge inside. I can show this again, just a moment if you want. They'll show this again. We saw that there are three main trees that we have, okay? And the Lord God in verse number 9, okay? And the Lord
Yes.
God caused to sprout out from the ground every tree pleasant to see and good to eat. This is the first one. And the tree of life in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So we have three kinds of trees, okay? Every tree, the tree of life, and the tree of the knowledge. And we saw that the midst, the word the midst of the garden, it's the middle of the garden, okay?
Right.
After that, we saw that when the woman is saying to the snake that there are trees that you're not allowed to eat, so she says that, but the fruit of the tree that is in the midst of the garden, God said, you shall not eat of it. And we understood that the tree of knowledge and the tree of life, both of them in the midst of the garden, and there's only one midst to this garden. And this midst, it's where the tree of knowledge and tree of life, it's the same tree. So what is really happening here? We'll explain this one step deeper now when we'll continue to this issue. I want to share or to start with something that everybody knows, I will say, or everybody, this secret is very known today. And this is the issue of the tool from one side and the content, okay, of the substance on the other side. And today people also are calling this the light and the tool. Those are the words that people are calling it. I think that if you will ask Matas, so he will tell us for 8 years he learned those issues. There is the light and there is the tool, right, Matas? Say to us how much. This is one of the things that
I would call it vessel, not tool, but vessel. It's kli, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Excellent. We're gonna call this. In purpose, I said the words tool, an instrument, and if you're taking, for example, the water. Okay. So there is the water. The water is the main issue here. It's the main thing that we are drinking, the main thing that we are doing. And there is also the tool, the cup that is holding the water. Okay. And the cup is only a tool. It's not something that we are using. But things are getting a bit more complicated. Okay. Because when we're looking on the glass from one side and at the water from one side, so we say that the glass is the tool, it's the instrument that is holding the light, the water, the main issue. But it's all in relevant issues, okay? Because the water is also only a tool for something else, okay? For what? If we will go one step ahead, when I'm as a human, I'm trying to drink something, the water is suddenly moving on to become only a tool, an instrument or something that is helping to my body, and my body is, the human body, is the content, is the issue, is the substance, is the light, if you relate this to the water. So the water itself depends to what exactly we relating this water, this issue of water. And when we understand that, all of this world is a chain, is a big chain, I will say, of from one side, it's a tool, it's an instrument, and the other side, it's the light, it's the content, it's the substance, it's the main issue. And there are things that it's like that, and there are things that it's like that. I will continue on, okay, because it's very simple, it's very knowledgeable. The body, the human body is also for few things, or for some of the things, it's only a tool, okay? When we're looking on the human will, or the human neshama, the human spirit, okay, side, the spirit side, so the human body is only a tool for the spirit side. We can see this in the Paralympic, all the things of the Paralympic, okay, when they're going to do this, all those, it's not the fights, it's not the right word. They're doing all those tests or the things that they're doing between one with each other. People who are very disabled from one side, and the spirit is moving them to do very high, very knowledgeable things, very amazing things, because the human will or the human spirit is much bigger than the human body. So the human body, when you relate this to the food that you're eating, The human body is the light, is the content. But when you relate this, the human body, to the human will, so the human body is suddenly only a tool. And everything is all the time depends to what exactly you relate this. And I will say it's like a very, very big and long chain in our world that everything have two ways how to look at it. Okay, there are things when you relate this to others, it's only a tool, and there are things that it's also the content, the main issue, the light. And this is how the world is all the time running between those two, I will say, issues for everything inside. What is the most important if you're looking, the tool, the instrument, or the content? I'm asking, what is the most important? Usually, the tool is only
Content.
exactly the tool is only serving for the content. Okay, the tool is only a servant for the content. The content, the light, is the most important. This is the most important thing. Now, I'm reminding something that we've learned a few weeks ago. It was, I think, 6 or something weeks ago. We spoke about this issue of that God wanted, or He demanded in the third day, that we saw that everything. I'll start a bit earlier. Okay, we saw that everything that God asked that will happen, except for the light, that God said there will be a light, and there was a light. Everything else, it wasn't 100% what God wanted. It was a bit less. Okay, and why that? Because the earth had some sort of free will not to do everything that God wanted. So, and one of the things that we showed this was with the issue on the third day. In the third day, God is saying that there will be a tree, a fruit tree, that also will give fruits. So the tree itself will be fruitful. And at the end, we know that we are only eating the fruits, and the tree itself we're not eating. And when we are saying to ourselves, the fruit and the tree, we also can understand that the tool, the instrument, is the tree. But the content, okay, the main issue is the fruit. This is when we are relating those two. And God wanted, His wish was in the beginning that the main thing, there won't be any gap between the tool and the substance, okay, between the instrument and the light, but they will be in the same equal level. At the end of days, okay, the earth didn't manage to do those things, and it gave the tree from one side and the fruit from the other side. The tree we are not eating, okay? The tool doesn't have any importance when you compare this to the content, to the substance. This is, until here, I gave you some sort of few words as an opening, because now it's my main hard question. Where can we really put this issue that we call knowledge? Is knowledge is a tool? It's only an instrument, or knowledge is a content? Now, please open your microphones and try to give me an answer. Knowledge that we are learning. Renat is saying, of course, a tool. Everybody agree? Daniel, what do you say? The knowledge is only a tool, or the knowledge is also the light, the content itself? A good question.
Are you asking me, or are you asking Daniel in Bogota?
I'm asking, right, both of you, Dan. Let's give Daniel in Bogota to speak, and then Chacham Dan will speak. Yes, Daniel, what do you say?
Well, it's kind of a hard one. I'm trying to think about it.
True. It's a tricky one. It's hard.
Yeah, it's pretty tricky. I would say knowledge is the content, I guess.
Okay, so you disagree with Renat. Renat said straight ahead, it's a tool. And you're saying, no, it's a content. Not Renat, sorry, Matas. Renat, yes, Renat, you want to answer also?
Well, I just will use logical following. So if you started with a tree of knowledge that encompasses both, and the tree of life, so probably that's the same case that it can encompass both. But what's the explanation? I don't know.
I would say that this is like water. If you're taking the vessel tool for sipping out in water, then vessel is a tool. But if you take water to fulfill person is a tool, and water is a content. So
okay, you're starting to see that it's much more complicated, and we're going to go inside to this issue. You're right. You're all right. You're starting to say, every answer that you gave here, it's all right. Dan, do you want to add something, or it's we can continue?
You continue, Rabbi. I'm just chatting online with some of the people interacting.
Okay, just you can tell them that they can go pop inside to be part of the class, because I put the link underneath the YouTube, the last one, last week YouTube. Okay, I will give an answer for this issue of tool and instrument or content, or this issue of the knowledge. And this is something that we already said before, and this is also the issue of the one tree that we have. And it's all starting, and I explained this a bit last week, it's all starting with the understanding of the main issue of men inside what is the main, I will say, the most importance, okay, the humankind instead of the animals, okay, because the animals also, we said, are being called living souls, okay, and the Lord God formed man from dust, from the ground, and he breathed into his nostrils the soul of life, and man became a living soul. But also the beasts also were called living souls. And we said that the main issue is the intelligence and speech. This is what man is much higher than the animals. Now, this issue of the intelligence, it's very interesting, because there are 3 levels of the intelligence. I won't go inside to all of them. I will say that this issue of intelligence is giving something, and especially because we have this free will that I started with, is giving something that we are standing opposed to God. We can stand in front of God and say to him, first of all, we don't acknowledge you. One thing, we know that there are people who are living in our world and they're saying, we don't acknowledge God. It's interesting because God, it's good that God still acknowledges them and is giving them life, as we've learned, okay? But this is something that it's, God is playing here. But a normal person can stand in front of God and say to him, I'm not acknowledging you, I don't know you, in my intelligence, you're not existent. And this is one thing that we need to know. And it's also giving the man the possibility to acknowledge everything in this world. And we've said this in previous lessons, that this is one of the things that man needs to do in this world. He needs to eat, not to eat only to buy the fruit, but also to eat all of this knowledge of this world. This is what he needs to do, to eat the knowledge of everything. Now, the main question here is what exactly his reference to the knowledge of this world. If his reference to the knowledge of this world is only on the level of learning more, getting more ideas, getting more knowledge, and that's it, without any acknowledgement or without any relation with God, who is giving him his life, giving life to all of this world and creating this world. So the knowledge is only like a tool, okay, and nothing else. When man is learning, but he is accepting upon himself that there is God who is giving him his life, who is giving him life, then the knowledge suddenly is a tool that he can use for doing more and more in his life. Okay, and this is where the knowledge, this is what we said, the tree of knowledge and the tree of life, it's the same tree. Everything is starting with this issue, with the question, what exactly is the attitude, the approach? Now, it's amazing to understand that because it's insight to an insight. The attitude and the approach. I'll explain this like that. There is the scale. We know the scale. We all know the scale. The old scale was that people hold it with their hands, and there were two scales, and we put in one side, my watch, and the other side we're putting a fruit, and we're saying, okay, this is the weight of this issue. The scale can scale everything except for one thing. What can't the scale scale?
Time and knowledge.
No. The scale can't scale himself. The scale can't scale himself.
Oh, yeah.
It can't scale. It can scale everything in this world except for himself. To scale himself, he needs something from outside himself. And this is exactly the issue of the approach, the attitude of this issue of knowledge. I can learn everything. The main issue is not what I'm learning or the things that I'm gathering inside me and getting more and more and more, also tools inside me. The question is the attitude. Someone here, a God who created this world, he put inside this world a lot of knowledge, very smart knowledge. Go to every field that you will go, and today in the universities you can learn that, all this knowledge. Every field that you're going to go, you're going to touch, you will see amazing knowledge in this world, okay? We are learning a lot. We are imitating a lot of the nature, okay? Even the camera that we're speaking now, and we have a camera that is speaking between us and everything else, the camera is just imitating the eye. We've learned exactly what the eye is doing, and we're doing the same thing with the camera. The issue with the microphone, we are imitating almost everything from nature. We are learning from the nature, we're imitating from nature. And it's amazing all these things that we see in the nature, everything, okay? You will take the nature world, everything. There's a lot of knowledge in this world. The question is, I'm only learning everything here and learning more and more and more and more. And what I'm doing with this knowledge, or through this knowledge, I'm accepting and I'm acknowledging with my right attitude that is a bit out of the knowledge. And the attitude, as I said before, we have free will to decide exactly our attitude. No one can force us. I think this is a story I told you once, Chacham Dan. I told you it once. We have a very, very unique person in the Israel state. He was captured in the Russian world something like 30 years ago. Okay, his name is Anatoly Sharansky. He was also a ministry in Israel, and he's a very, very famous in Israel and famous also in the world. I think that Barack Obama, the President Barack Obama, also called him and took his book and learned from this, and he had a meeting with him. He's a very known person. He was blamed that he is trying to, I'm speaking about the early 70s in the last century, Russia, okay? Also our friends from Lithuania were part of this Russia area. And he was blamed that he is a spy of Israel, and therefore they are going to put him in the jail. Now, he wasn't a spy. Everybody knew that he wasn't a spy. But it was a game, like everything else that was in Russia, that they decided for people what they're supposed to be, and this is what they did. So when the judge decided that he was supposed to go for 20 years to Sibir, he stood up and he said, I want to say something. You, the judge, you think that you have a free will to do whatever you want to do, and you can go back home. And this is why you are free men. But the truth is that you are very captured inside this structure of the Russian Soviet Union, and you must decide for me, even though it's a lie, that this is my punishment. On the other side, maybe you have my body, and you will put me inside Siberia, and everything, it's okay. But you will never manage to capture my free will and my soul, and I can decide what I want to do, and I'm more free than you, the judge. This was his speech in front of the judge, and it was also being spread out to all of the world. And this is the issue of the attitude. The attitude is something that each one and one of us have the ability to decide for himself. No one can force us, not even if they will, take us and put us in all sorts of jails and everything else, jail or something like that. Another place that we saw this in a very amazing situation is in all of the camps of the German in the Second World War, where they put all the Jewish people in the camps, and they try to, in Auschwitz and other places, because the Jews there had all the background inside there to have a lot of mafia, okay, to that people, only the strong people will manage to survive, and they will eat the food of the weak people and everything else. But we saw there how much people helped one each other, even though they were in a very bad conditions. So the attitude, the approach, it's something that is the outside of this scale of knowledge that can decide where this scale is going to go. It's going to go on the roots, like usually in the universities, that people are meeting with the nature, and they're asking what exists, and it is a closed meeting with a world of laws that has an end and everything is closed, or the knowledge is bringing me to a more closer relationship with God who created this world, okay? And I'm meeting him, okay, through this world, the one who said, and the world was done, okay? And with this meeting, with this infinite, I can also grow up my possibilities and my options and my reality to an endless way, not only to be in a closed world. This approach that I have, this what will decide how exactly I'm using the knowledge that I'm taking. So I agree with Matas, that the knowledge, at the end of the days, it's mainly the tool that can help me to live in the right life in this world. And the attitude and the approach will bring me to be connected with God and to give me the right, rules, or the right, not the rules, values, the right values, how to live my life. And when I know how to live my life, and I'm connected to the tree of life, to God, when I know how to live my life, then I need to learn more and learn more, because God is asking me to eat from all of the trees of this garden, to eat everything of this life, to eat everything of this world. So I'm eating more and I'm eating more, I'm getting more knowledge. It's only another tool and another tool. But if I have the right knowledge, the right values of life, I'm connected with God, I'm taking it with the right attitude, with the right approach, I can grow up and learn more and use it in the right way. So this is where we're putting this issue of the knowledge. Now, my next question is, what exactly is forbidden for Adam and Eve? What is forbidden? I'm going to break down another very, something that everybody doesn't really remember that. What is forbidden? What God said to them not to eat?
It's forbidden to eat from tree of life and tree of knowledge.
Tree of life never said, God never said not to eat from the tree of life. I'll go another. God
tree
never
of
said
knowledge.
only from the tree of knowledge. Okay, God is saying not to eat from the tree of knowledge. Now it's a bit complicated what I'm going to say now, but listen carefully, because it's the Hebrew mindset, how we are learning the Bible. Okay, we have a lot of laws that we are supposed to do. Okay, and there are a lot of laws that we are not supposed to do. When we have a clash between those two, if there are ways, okay, that we can go around, it's important that we will do everything and we will find the way to not to do or to minimize the issue of not doing things. Okay, I will give an example. For example, we all know that in the 8th day, the Hebrew nation is doing circumstances. This is what we call it, right? The issue of Brit Milah, okay, in the 8th day. Now, on Shabbat, on the 7th day, on Saturday, we are not allowed to do this issue. But because we are not breaking all of the laws of the 7th day of Shabbat, of the Saturday, so we are allowing ourselves to break only this specific law. So even though it's not allowed on Shabbat, on the Saturday, we are allowing ourselves to do something small because it's not breaking all of the law. Now let's go again and see. And the Lord, when he created all of those, in verse 15, okay? In verse 16, he says, of every tree of the garden, you may freely eat. Okay, this is what God is saying. God is saying, you must eat. And we said that you need to eat, and we explained that this is the main issue of man. Man is not here. Man is not eating for living. Man is living for eating. This is what we said a few times. Okay, and then suddenly God is saying the tree of knowledge and of good and evil, you should not eat of it. But why you should not eat of it? For on the day that you eat, then you will die. So what was man was supposed to do? What Adam and Eve were supposed to do? They were supposed to eat first from the tree of life, and then they won't die, and then they can eat from the tree of good and bad, because they will take it in the right attitude. You with me? Again, I'm explaining it again. God from one side is saying, eat everything. So I'm supposed to eat also from the tree of knowledge of good and bad. And then God is saying to us, don't eat from the knowledge of good and bad. But then he is saying a hint, because when you will eat of it from this tree, you will die. So what man was supposed to do? What Adam and Eve was supposed to do? They were supposed to eat from the tree of knowledge, as a tree of life, so they won't die. And when they will have the right attitude, tree of life, the connection with God, then they need to eat from tree of knowledge, because God said to them, for every tree of the garden you must eat. This is what they were supposed to do. Now, another very important thing here inside. What is not allowed is to eat from the tree of knowledge, not from the fruit. When you eat from the fruit, you're starting to eat it in the right attitude. The fruit, we said, is the light side. Now let's go inside. And Dan, here I need you to read a few sentences from the Bible. I'm going to share something a bit else. Okay, something a bit else. And I'm going to ask you to read a few things and tell me, please, if the woman, okay, if Eva did the sin. And
You want me to start in verse 1?
Let's be a bit, no, not from verse 1. No. Please read, you know what? Read from verse 1. Okay.
Now the serpent was cunning more than all the beasts of the field that the Lord God had made. And it said to the woman, did God indeed say, you shall not eat of the trees of the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, of the fruit of the trees of the garden we may eat. But of the fruit of the tree that is in the midst of the garden, God said, you shall not eat of it, and you shall not touch it, lest you die. And the serpent said to the woman, you will surely not die, for God knows that on that day that you eat thereof, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like angels, knowing good and evil. And the woman saw the tree was good for food, and that it was delightful to the eyes, and the tree was desirable to make one wise. So she took of its fruit, and she ate, and she gave also to her husband with her, and he ate.
Okay. We said in a moment ago, we said, thank you, Dan. A moment ago, we said that it wasn't allowed to eat from the tree. Did the woman eat from the tree?
Not at that point.
She ate from the fruit, okay? Let's see what happened when she gave it to her husband. Okay? When she gave it to her husband, let's read from verse number 8.
And
Please
they
read.
heard the voice of the Lord God going in the garden to the direction of the sun, and the man and his wife hid from before the Lord in the midst of the trees of the garden. And the Lord God called to man, and he said to him, Where are you going? And he said, Well, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I am naked, so I hid. And he said, Who told you that you are naked? Have you eaten from the tree of which I commanded you not to eat?
You ate from the tree, not from the fruit. Have you ate from the tree? Okay, have you ate from the tree? And what the man is answering, look in the next sentence.
And the man said, The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, so I ate.
Again, so we see something there is happening. The woman is eating from the fruits. She is still staying in the right attitude, even though it's a mistake to eat it before she is eating from the tree of life. But the man, he is already taking it, and suddenly he is eating from the tree. But we said already that it's